You should leave now, before it's too late, the stranger whispered, his voice laced with an unsettling mix of urgency and familiarity, as if her future was a secret that only he could see. Outside, the city wove a gray tapestry of rain, each droplet tapping on the cafe window, like persistent fingers trying to find their way in. Inside, Sophia sat hunched over her sketchbook, the aroma of freshly ground coffee mingling with the faint smell of graphite from her pencil. She was an artist in her own world, invisible and content. Sophia was always here at Café Noir, occupying the corner table where the sputtering light bulb flickered like a distant star. Her presence was as constant as the cracked tile beneath her chair, an unremarkable fixture in a city that moved too fast for names. She wore a worn olive coat that folded around her like a second skin, her fingers peeking from fingerless gloves as if to capture the essence of her subjects with the barest touch. That morning she sketched the patrons around her, capturing fleeting expressions with lines that breathed life into paper. Her subjects shifted from disgruntled businessmen to lovelorn couples and solitary dreamers, sipping their bitter solace. Yet, despite her silent presence, she was a mere shadow, an afterthought in their stories. But the stranger's words rippled through her solitude, echoing a possibility that tugged at the edges of her mind. Sophia blinked up at him. He was striking, tenebrous eyes locked with hers, his features chiseled with authority. He stood out like a thunderstorm against the dull tableau of regular customers. "Excuse me," Sophia replied, her voice barely disrupting the harmony of cafe sounds, the clinking of mugs, mumbled conversations, and a soft melody over the speakers. "I mean it," he insisted gently, his gaze never wavering. "They will come for you." Sophia forced a laugh, unsure whether to dismiss him as a lunatic or entertain his drama as inspiration for her next sketch. "And why would anyone come for me? I'm just a lonely artist with a penchant for caffeine." He leaned closer, resting a hand on her sketchbook with a casual possession that made her heart race. "You've captured something extraordinary, Sophia. Even in their darkness, your drawings hold light." The air seemed to thicken, every breath a conscious effort. His words lingered, threading through her doubt with an eerie sense of truth. She considered him again, this stranger who spoke like he knew her soul. Yet, in this isolated pocket of the world, where anonymity blanketed them, she dared not trust too easily. "Look, I don't know who you think you are, but I'm Gabriel," he interjected smoothly, removing his hand with a swift gesture that left her both relieved and curiously bare. "We shouldn't talk here. I can explain." Sophia's pencil hovered over the page, her grip hesitant. Nearby, the barista frothed milk, oblivious to the tension coiled around them. "Why me? Why now?" "Because you drew the wrong people," Gabriel responded, his words gliding like daggers, "and they don't appreciate being seen." Doubt skated across her mind, each whisper adding to the mosaic of impossibilities. But as crazy as it all sounded, something deep within her, a gut feeling honed by years of observing the unnoticed, told her this was real. Over the next few hours, she tried to shake off the encounter, but his presence lingered like a specter, each moment intertwining with gnawing questions. Who were these wrong people? And why was an apparent stranger concerned for her safety? Gradually, the cafe emptied, the clamor of morning patrons dwindling to a quiet murmur. She was alone with her thoughts, trapped within the frame of a rainy afternoon. The pressure mounted as unease settled on her shoulders like an unwelcome shawl. Unable to concentrate, Sophia packed her things and left Café Noir, the doorbell jangling a mournful goodbye to her solitude. Outside, the rain fell harder, and she wandered aimlessly through the city streets, her mind a storm of emotion and logic. Her steps echoed against the cobblestones, carrying her further into alleys webbed with puddles and illusions. Suddenly, from the shadows, a figure detached itself, moving with the smoothness of someone versed in invisibility. It was Gabriel, merging into her path like a long-anticipated silhouette. "We really need to talk," he said softly, sincerity framing his request. Caught between fear and intrigue, Sophia halted, her breath visible in the chilly air. "I don't have time for games. If you're here to help, then make it clear," because Gabriel tilted his head, catching the cascade of rain on his cheek like a benediction, "because your life might depend on it." His certainty cut through her defenses. Between them, the city draped its secrets like veils, and Sophia found herself nodding, a choice drawn from the deepest wells of trust and desperation. They slipped into a small bistro, a forgotten place nestled between bustling avenues, where the scent of rosemary lingered like a promise. Despite the warmth, there was an undeniable chill in the air. "I work for an organization," Gabriel began, an unspoken weight etched into every syllable. "The people in your sketchbook, they belong to families with power you can't even imagine. Your drawings, Sophia, they reveal details they can't afford to be shown, even unintentionally." Sophia felt the blood drain from her face, a realization cascading like ink across water. In capturing the soul of strangers, had she inadvertently stumbled into something beyond her control? "I don't understand," she whispered, lips trembling. "Why draw attention to me? I'm no one." Gabriel's gaze softened, a flicker of genuine concern breaking through his enigmatic facade. He placed something on the table, a small crest carved in ivory, depicting a phoenix with eyes that seemed to burn into her memory. "Because sometimes the world sees what we don't want it to until it's too late," he said, his voice a gravity of its own. The weight of his words settled over her, as did the silence that followed, taut and expectant. Her mind raced through memories, flashes of faces and etchings, searching for the link that condemned her. In that still moment, with the scent of rosemary filling the air, a truth unfolded, one she hadn't seen in her art but felt in her bones. Her drawings weren't random. They were messages imbued with an unspoken understanding, an artist's intuition guiding her hand. Yet before she could voice her thoughts, Gabriel retreated into the shadows cast by flickering candlelight, his parting words lingering like a promise. "Trust me. I'll make sure you're safe." She let out a shuddering breath, the mystery tightening around her like a shroud. The crest lay on the table, a tangible mark of the unfolding mystery, absurd yet undeniable. Then from the bistro's depths came a low murmur, a stranger's voice, blending with the gentle clink of glass. It was fleeting but enough to grasp her attention. The daughter must choose her path soon. Sophia turned, her heart thudding with a rhythm that refused to slow, only to face the quiet disruption of her world, poised at the precipice of revelation and the unknown. A screech of tires shattered the fragile dusk, the roar of an engine closing in like a beast hunting its prey. Sophia barely had time to react as a black car surged from the shadows, its headlights slicing through the dimly lit street. Her heart stuttered, a pulse of terror sending her stumbling backward. Gabriel, appearing as if conjured from the night itself, grabbed her arm, yanking her into the engulfing safety of the alleyway, the bricks rough against her back, cool and reassuring. "Not a word," he whispered against the cacophony of the city, his presence a wall against the chaos. Sophia's mind raced as the car skidded to a halt, menacing figures emerging with the fluidity of dancers, each gesture precise and threatening. The darkness coiled around them, their intent clear in the set of their shoulders and the veiled threats curling from their lips. She caught the scent of gasoline, as sharp and searing as the fear gripping her. In the fleeting light, she saw Gabriel's eyes, molten and resolved, as a silent command passed between them. Her art, the sketches, these men, they were all intricately linked by threads she had only begun to unravel. Rain misted the air, weaving a tapestry of tension between them. Sophia's life, once a quiet series of pen strokes and haunting lines, had become an unfinished canvas of danger and unpredictability. "Should have seen this coming," she muttered to herself, the irony bitter on her tongue. In the dim glow of the streetlight, she noticed the small details of Gabriel's composure, the set of his jaw, the controlled breaths. The city, in its restless slumber, was both a cradle and a curse. "What do they want?" Sophia's voice trembled, an intrusive whisper cutting through the night. Gabriel's grip remained firm. "To erase any trace of what you've seen. They're not just the wrong people, they're dangerous, Sophia. And now you're tangled in their web." Her mind reeled from the unfamiliar weight of unwanted knowledge. All she had wanted was to immortalize moments through her art, unaware of the deeper stories captured in the shadows. "How did you find me?" she challenged with newfound clarity, yet suspicion nested in her tone. Gabriel released a slow, deliberate breath, a melody of resigned acceptance. "Your drawings were a signal, as if you were calling to us without realizing. As for why I'm here, My family is tied to theirs, but I don't play by their rules. The unexpected truth hung in the air, fragile yet undeniable. The revelation stung, a cruel twist of fate lacing her art with danger. Sophia found herself wishing to undo every stroke, every mistake that had led her to this very moment, with a man whose life was intersected with the dark realities she had inadvertently depicted. She wanted to run, escape the game she unwittingly started, but the shadows had names and powers she could not comprehend. One choice remained, to stand with Gabriel and uncover the puzzle piece by piece. The grip of fear released its stranglehold as determination bloomed. The world felt larger, the streets daunting, yet inviting the unknown. Back at the bistro, the warmth of rosemary was a distant memory, the familiar yet uncanny silence returning to that small bubble of refuge. That safe haven had seemed a lifetime away. "What now?" she asked, half expecting the solid certainty of Gabriel's gaze to be the anchor to her confusion. "We get you out of here," he said flatly, the surety of his tone unsettling in its promise. The city unfolded before them, a maze of possibilities and crossroads, each turn leading closer to the heart of deception or safety. Gabriel led her through back alleys and passage corners, an unspoken trust forging between them, as if their paths were predestined to entwine in this chaotic dance. Trepidation simmered beneath Sophia's skin, yet with every step, she could feel her inner artist reborn, not as a mere observer, but a player in this high-stakes game. Her sketches were stories longing to be told, even the dangerous, forbidden ones. Finally reaching the edge of the riverbank, the water's surface rippling under the moon's watchful eye, they paused. "That doesn't look like a way out," Sophia said, the disbelief sharpening her words. Gabriel offered a half-smile, the quirk of his lips edged with conspiratorial bemusement. "It's either a shortcut or a trap. Coming?" The choice to plunge into the embrace of mystery was Sophia's alone. The river stretched vast before her, a reflection of courage or demise. She hesitated, gauging the moment. The city thrummed behind them with whispers and fears yet to be realized. Gabriel took a step forward, his silhouette a guardian against the unknown. "I promised you'd be safe, didn't I?" A flicker of trust kindled in his conviction, prompting Sophia to follow. The water lapped at their ankles as they waded into uncertainty, the future inked in the shadows. The river washed away the bounds that had tethered her fears. Within her heart, courage found its rhythm. "The water's dark," she remarked softly, surrendering to the journey. Gabriel's voice, tinged with a hint of comedy in these solemn reverberations, offered the final word, always darkest before the dawn. It was then she saw it, or rather, barely saw it, the outline of a boat, hidden beneath the faded rays of the moon. Just as their feet left solid ground, a new path materialized, leading them into the night. In the boat's shadows there lay a promise waiting to be fulfilled. Sophia woke to the vibrating trill of her cell phone on the wooden nightstand, its screen a beacon of urgency in the pre-dawn darkness. She squinted, the glaring light a jarring interruption to her dreams. Missed calls and blurred text messages populated the screen, each a small explosion of concern and unanswered questions. "Where are you? Are you safe?" The night weighed heavily on her shoulders, layers of fog outside her apartment window, draping the city in a thick shawl. Her sketches covered the walls like silent witnesses to an unfolding story only she seemed to see. Each line a captured moment of anonymity, now whispered with intent, Sophia couldn't ignore. The smell of burned sage lingered, a relic of her attempts to find peace amidst chaos. Her small studio was a cocoon of modest comforts, the stark warmth of mustard yellow cushions contrasting the pale walls, embracing the disarrayed map of her life. Rain whispered against the window panes, a symphony of soft discord that matched the tempo of her thoughts. As she got out of bed, Sophia felt the world teetering on the edge of something she couldn't quite grasp. The first rays of light crept into the room, shading it with hues of uncertainty. Yet, amidst the dread, a singular thought echoed. She needed to understand why her sketches mattered so much. Outside, the city was a maze of worn streets and hidden secrets. As Sophia walked, each step tapping against the pavement, a crisp chill snaked its grip around her resolve. How could colors and shadows hold such power? It was a cruel twist of reality, the art she loved threatening the life she cherished. Gabriel's sudden reappearance in the cityscape was as startling as the sharp whistle of a distant train, aligning his shadow with hers. The crowds moved like streams of consciousness, flows that neither asked nor answered, just existed. In this kinetic blur, Gabriel's approach was a still point, offering unspoken understanding. "We can't stay here anymore," he said, a low note amidst the cacophony of anonymous footsteps in morning haste. His voice cut through the ambient noise, finding her with ease. "Why?" she asked, already calculating the ominous potential of his words. A bus rumbled past, its exhaust lingering in the air like doubts in her mind. Gabriel didn't flinch, his presence a firm stance against the world's unrelenting motion. Because they know where to look now, trust is a fragile mask we no longer have the luxury to wear. His words were a splash of reality, cold, unyielding. Sophia's heartbeat murmured a swift tango of trepidation and anticipation. As minutes turned to hours, Sophia found herself at Gabriel's side, their destination undefined but charged with imminent necessity. Her olive coat flapped gently in the wind, a banner of her identity amid shifting landscapes. At the outskirts of the city, nestled on the verge where civilization met wildness, stood an estate, a brooding architecture of secrets and history, ivy entwined with stone. Its aura was both a shield and silent alarm. Here they paused at the wrought iron gates. "Look closer," Gabriel urged, his words encased in a hint of mystery. Reluctantly, Sophia complied. Her artist's eyes sipped the shadows and shapes, tracing the iron filigree until a pattern revealed itself a hidden phoenix, mirroring the crest Gabriel had shown her. It was a silent archetype, etching fire into her thoughts. Her skin prickled as hidden layers unfolded, peeling reality back to present strings that pulled taut into destiny. They entered, the echo of their steps resonating in the courtyard like forgotten echoes of lavish whispers. The scent of damp earth and rosewood ground the opulence with a prelude of decay. Within the estate's walls, the space exhaled secrecy. The sheer scale of portraits and chandeliers invoked awe, yet left Sophia feeling diminished. Her previously assured presence a mere echo. Gabriel's acquaintance had emerged from woodwork polished with tradition, figures dressed in tailored shadows, their faces obscured by authority. "Will she do, cousin?" one asked in a voice slit with curiosity, watching Sophia as if measuring intrigue. Sophia blinked as the world around her inverted, her place in the center, shifting under the spotlight of expectations veiled in ambiguity. "What is this place?" Her voice quivered, confronting the maze of untold stories. "A sanctuary," a new voice replied, a woman draped in elegance, her dark eyes mirroring untold histories. "Or a threshold, depends on whom you ask." Sophia's mind raced, pieces slowly uncoiling from a consciousness she had barely scratched. Every glance, every unseen word spoken in hushed tones, each chipped away at her defenses. In the cloistered intimacy of the library, dusty with wisdom and time, Gabriel spoke through the melodies of pages turning by unseen hands. "You are not just an artist, Sophia," he said softly. "You are the keeper of something they need. Against your will, you've seen into their world." A rush of anger blended with clarity. "I never asked for this," Sophia murmured, her voice soft with the bitterness of truth. Gabriel met her gaze evenly, adrenaline sharpening their breaths. "Yet here you are." Sophia searched the deepest corridors of her own heart, seeking a resolution to wind the chaos into clarity. "Then let me see," she demanded. His smile was slow, approval tinged with the weight of what lay ahead. "As you wish," he agreed. Together they stepped into a room at the heart of the estate, where walls whispered phantasms of plot and counterplot. Here lay the archive's drawings, dating back centuries, formed a tapestry only visible to those who dared to see. Each picture housed a piece of the narrative, a narrative Sophia now needed to understand, not for artistic triumph, but for survival. Feathers rustled nearby, as if the phoenix itself hovered silently within reach. Her mind danced over possibilities, the future sharpening on delicate edges of hope and danger. She picked up a piece of charcoal, feeling its texture anchor her will. Pressed into Gabriel's waiting hands were sketches, made artistically whole by her honest touch, eyes wide with expectation. "What do we do next?" she whispered, anticipation and resolve guiding her brush. Gabriel looked at the sketches, then Sophia with an intensity that promised transformation. His words left hanging, a sculptor's hands shaping fate midway through completion. "Next," Gabriel declared, "we draw the lines they cannot erase." The scent of charcoal lingered, as did their unspoken pact. A shadow flitted past the window, a subtle, captivating reminder that decisions and destinies moved unseen, waiting, watching, a phantom sketch not yet committed to paper. The sharp clap of thunder ignited the night into a flash of stark white, momentarily etching the silhouette of the stranger against Sophia's consciousness. In that brief moment, she was startled by the recognition that her life had effectively split between the familiar and the unknown. The morning was not yet broken, and the walls around her were drawn with shadows both literal and metaphorical. Sophia glanced around the room of the grand estate. Her feet echoed against the hard wood, a rhythm synchronizing with her urgent heartbeats. The previous evening had been steeped in abstraction and fear, leaving her weary with questions that rattled within her mind like marbles in a jar. The dusty scent of the estate folded around them like an omnipresent watcher, each room whispering secrets long held. Her presence here felt like a juxtaposition to the serenity found in her old life, fragments of tranquil naps in café noir, and the tender lull of graphite brushing paper. Schemes and secrets wrapped around her now like custom-fitted chains. Gabriel, an enigmatic silhouette in the room's twilight, studied her face, his own half-cast in the dance of shadows borne by the dim chandeliers. His eyes, reservoirs of unreadable determination, flickered towards her. "There's another way," he offered, voice hushed but grounding. Sophia looked toward him, eyes heavy with the crush of decisions yet to manifest. "Another way," she repeated softly, each syllable tasting like chalk on her tongue. She felt displaced, yet grounded in this labyrinthine home, a paradox of refuge and a crucible testing her resolve. Even in the lavish confines of the estate, her fingers itched for the familiarity of her sketchbook, a talisman against the burgeoning reality she found herself tangled within. Their secrecy had always been a living entity, thriving in shadows. And now those shadows had grown teeth. A knock at the door resonated in the silence. Its wooden protest rolled through the hallway, a call to action, or perhaps another layer of enigma. Carla, the woman with dark eyes whose entrance was like that of a stately bird, greeted them. Her voice was a songbird's call, laced with wisdom, yet enigmatic. "Sophia," she began, with a timbre that held years of unspoken narratives, "you're not here by chance. The art chose you." Sophia blinked, the suggestion electrifying her senses. She wondered at her own ignorance and why she hadn't perceived lines as entangled timelines earlier. Her pulse hammered in her chest, a drumbeat, announcing both fear and the musicality of destiny accepted. The air felt tighter, as if the mansion watched with bated breath. "Remember that piece you did, with the boat under the moonlight?" Carla asked, her lips caressing the memories Sophia herself thought long forgotten. "Yes," Sophia whispered, nostalgia warm like honey, yet cutting like a shard of reality. "That wasn't just any boat, it was the Corsica, a vessel woven into our very past." Carla gestured softly toward the library, a testament of epics and lineages that trembled, eager to spill their tales. Gabriel and Sophia exchanged glances, steeped in revelations brewing just beneath the surface. Sophia found herself moving through this tale like in water, every step simultaneously, light and drowning. With every page turned, centuries came alive through her sketches, recreated. They were ascended, transformed, walking beneath arches and evading sepulchres of stone. Underneath it all, the warmth from their linked destinies shimmered, a beacon of hope and a foreboding glimmer of the unknown. Within the whispers of dried ink, hidden somewhere in this mansion, Sophia was to uncover not just the past they harbored, answers to the enigma she had yet to solve. It was overwhelmingly complex, this puzzle orchestrated by fate. Minutes flowed into hours, corridors led into rooms, each a vault of forgotten histories or glimpses into her own future. Soon they stood before a vast mural, a living fresco of fables sewn into plaster. And there it was, a figure bearing a striking resemblance to Carla held a set of parchments. their edges curling around wisdom untold. They took more than the sight from us, Gabriel murmured, his voice harmonizing with the crescendo of awareness threading through the air. Are you suggesting what I think? Sophia breathed, the possibility too vast to conceive yet thrilling in its implication. My drawings, they're not mere reflections of shadows, she realized. They're portals. The arrival at this canvassed oracle had unfurled edges of destiny she had never dreamt. And there it was, the symbol within the murk and archive of emotions captured not in mere lines, but truths woven of history and tomorrow. Faces split into silent affirmations, perceptions shattered and refit anew with the alarming clarity of realization. Their breath coalesced into a singular echo, and as Sophia traced the tingling thermals of her discovery, she felt it. Amongst the intimate detail of brushwork and history gulked the effigy of the phoenix, the recurring harbinger born from her own sketches. And beneath it, written in code that her eyes learned to decipher, read, marked in case, trusts are forged. The implications were a crescendo, but time snapped tight as the chandelier above trembled with a vibration of footsteps approaching, narrative yet to be settled. No more half-truth, Sophia stated, her resolve crisp with intention. Gabriel affirmed with a nod, but before more could be said, the candlelight flickered near extinguishment. A silhouette, an unknown figure dressed in dusky hues crossed into view. You've seen too much. The voice was a tapestry spun with darkness and finality, sending chills across Sophia's spine. The shadows in the room lengthened, clutching to the marble as if holding secrets of weighted consequence. Sophia's heart pounded in symphony with those ancient walls, yet her instinct told her this was but an opening note in a yet larger symphony. The flicker of a lighter, a minute flame danced, carrying words unspoken, yet the silent piquancy of crimson fire and smoke delineated in their fragrance the latitudes of allegiance and betrayal. In the beguiling darkness that stretched beyond the candle's struggle, a single, arresting line was cut into the silence like a knife through canvas. The next move is yours. The slashing wind accompanied a disturbingly familiar voice in Sophia's ears, low and venomous, coaxing invisible claws down her spine. What will you choose now when all the roads lead back here? Gabriel's ominous companion stepped forward, his narrowed eyes making the danger palpable. The luxury of decision, a mere illusion. Sophia's pulse quickened, filling the cavernous halls with the tempo of unspoken promises. She was a figure caught in transition, the hum of uncertainty consuming her, like the echo of a pealing bell. As daylight seeped hesitantly through high-arched windows, the entire estate seemed to sway with the whisper of secrets yet uncovered. Sophia's rapid breath fogged up the glass pane, blurring the boundary between herself and the storm-laden world outside. The walls felt caught in 1,000 cycles of deception and revelation, and now it was her turn to take the stage amidst the rippling tapestry of time. Fingers grazed the satiny surface of a faded piano in the corner, and despite the surroundings' opulence, Sophia was but a sketch in grayscale, the color of decision not yet filled. Gabriel hovered nearby, his presence a mixture of protector and enigma. The aroma of worn parchment mixed with the tang of freshly cut cedar deepened the ether, a sensory anchor as the hall thrummed with prescient thoughts. This must be a trick, Sophia spoke finally, her voice a fragile filament of disbelief tugging at the edges of recognition. She forced a brittle smile, one imbued with the ghosts of resistance. Gabriel's gaze warmed, a guarded compassion in its depths. Not a trick, Sophia. A choice, a resolution you have been sketching into existence without knowing. The table set between them mockingly bore an old tome, heavy with the weight of unwritten future. The flickering candle cast each face into relief, light and shadow wrestling over their identities. The choice itself loomed large, inkling into existence between breaths, twisting like the roots of an ancient tree, deep and relentless. Each path is lined with vantage points only visible once taken. But tread carefully. Either way, you will see what was intended for you. Carla's voice rang echoing from the alcove's darkness. The sense of control she had earlier sat with evaporated like mist, leaving her to piece together the fabric of reality unraveling before them. Then from above, the chiming of a striking clock reverberated, an audible countdown setting Sophia's resolve alight. In the flickering half-light, what came next was not merely decision. It was an armor composed of realization and stubborn intent. Her eyes met Gabriel's, burning with ownership. She inhaled the time stretched between fractured memories and nascent possibilities. Each breath was a promise to herself, quiet yet felt deeply in the marrow of being. The culmination of events spun around them, a violent dance that required only a step to defy or define its rhythm. The walls thrummed an unsung lullaby. Fighting an internal battlefield, she vowed silently, "I won't just be a piece of their puzzle." His affirmation absconded in the gentleness of his expression, the finish of hardness, reflective, like polished obsidian. "A choice already unwritten," she whispered, the declaration rolling clear over the polished floor. The boundaries of their understanding expanded, as if narrated by the walls basking in syllables unspoken until this point. A fiery rebirth enveloped them, her every exhale consuming worry, replacing it with anticipation. Facing a crucible of half-glimpsed truths, Sophia took the book resting atop the table. In that act was courage, a single brushstroke across the open vista of what could be. The tome's weight confirmed the destiny felt instinctively, an inkling of what lay beneath the cobweb's surface. With a decisive flourish, she opened it. The pages reflected her own sketches, as though some harmonious resonance existed between past and present, layers of timelines aligned invisibly. Hands that dared sketched futures, the ink whispering of tomorrows to be seen or amended through sheer will. Her mind painted possibilities unimagined until now. "I see now," she said, the phrase like a secret resolved, dissipating illusions. Sophia's vision became color-saturated, where once it was gray, striking with certainty clear as midday. A flash of phoenix grasped between pages turned, brought forth the symbol compelling her forward. But no comfort untangled the core mystery yet unsolved. "Sophia," murmured Gabriel, anchoring her within this tapestry, spun of moments and decisions. "Sometimes the answer lies not beneath layers, but within what's already there." His guidance mirrored the unfurling complexities. Heart thundering, her convictions shaped purpose from chaos. She sensed him like tethered shadow, an ally and adversary joined seamlessly. Silverlight streamed through cracks, forging murals imagined not by hand, but heart. Within, the artwork breathed of hidden wisdom. A crest matched the key etched into the estate symbols she captured intently now, guiding her along undiscovered roads. By the time night bled into day, shadows lengthened, signaling both resolution achieved and an inevitable departure. With the dawn came clarity, revealing the once muddled path ahead. Only now, Sophia's perception shifted, a kaleidoscope of perspectives, drawn to understanding the worth of choices embraced. She stood rooted firmly, something clear within. And then Gabriel took her hand, the warmth transcending mere connection, sparking down to the core truth. The past, present, future Johann Sebastian Bach once intuited seemed entirely worlds away, yet markedly present, timeless within symphonies of concealed stories. Soon, significance intertwined between her lines became more than fabled memoir. A sinewy thread tugging with familiarity, yet as they stepped into the dawning light, their path oscillated beneath possibilities unlocked by daring, whispered legends. "Meet me by the river," an unexpected voice implored in the dusk of hesitation, a call to adventure yet again. Sophia's mind scrambled, choices echoed with urgency, a melody suspended before its echo dispersed into destiny unscripted. "There's nowhere left to hide, Sophia," Gabriel's voice cut into the darkness, catching her breath in a snare of urgency. His words echoed amidst the oppressive quiet, the mansion's formidable presence casting long shadows pregnant with secrets. Sophia's fingers traced the coarse grains of the tome once more, feeling its age under her skin, a tactile reminder of everything at stake. Details from her recent dreams merged with the chill air, murmurings of lore and legend trickling into reality. Her studio smelled of fresh ink and burnt sage, vain attempt to cleanse away her doubts. Last night's storm had left the estate's grounds a hazy quilt of damp earth and wilted leaves. Yet, nature managed to paint it with a beautiful allure, dewy spiderwebs glinting in early morning light like threaded crystals. Despite the mesmeric spectacle, an unshakable tension thrummed beneath the surface. Echoing truths neither art nor riddles could mask, Gabriel appeared at her side, his presence more shadow than form, a guardian made flesh by urgency. Each of his movements was deliberate, as if constrained by invisible strings. "We need to decide now," he urged, the timbre of his voice a gentle storm against the brewing chaos. "They will not wait for us to be ready." Sophia met his gaze, measuring the depths of his sincerity. Surprising fountain amidst familiar unknowns. Her sketches, scattered like leaves across her work table, reflected fragments of a life only half lived. Where once lines had been safe, they now sketched boundaries of an uncharted world. "I'll follow your lead," Sophia replied, each word a conscious thread binding her to a path she neither comprehended nor entirely feared. Gabriel's expression softened at that. The hint of a smile danced at the edges of his lips, the closest thing to comfort amidst the uncertainty. "Trust is all we have left," he said. A memory of the phoenix marking flickered across his expression, a promise as much as a warning. Outside, the estate breathed with the whispers of the past, an entity alive in the shifting light, cradling stories never told. Sophia watched as Gabriel moved towards the library door, for a moment, his hesitation an echo she longed to decipher. They moved through corridors rich with tapestries and the graven faces of long-dead hosts. Every gilded frame was a silent sentinel, bearing witness to the unfolding tale. Here, where opulence married shadows, Sophia grappled with the weight of her decision, feeling the mansion press upon her like a sentient being keen to shape her destiny. "What's your plan, Gabriel?" she asked as they entered the library once more. The aroma of ancient leather and dust settled into her lungs like a layered history. "We must secure your sketches," Gabriel replied, his hands drawing subtle lines in the air, the act a hypnotic blend of command and reverie. Hypnotized by the movement, Sophia almost missed the significance. Her sketches captured moments inked into truth, always the gateway to realms unseen, always leading her back here. "They're after more than you, Sophia," he continued, revealing the puzzle behind their shared urgency. "Each image you create uncovers an ancient bond, and those bonds are maps to what they seek." Sophia trembled beneath his words, ancestral echoes threading tension through her, thoughts of betrayal intertwined with understanding. Her life was more than happenstance. It was a tapestry woven by the hands of prophecy. Before she could respond, a loud crack split the air, a sound ominous in its finality. Chilled distance filled the room, a reminder of betrayals past, unreconciled but forever present. Gabriel exchanged a glance with her, measuring the gravity shared between them in silent dialogue. "We need to move. Now," he declared, urgency propelling them forward. Sophia reached out, her fingers closing around a familiar charcoal pencil, its potential soothing yet electrifying. This simple tool had sketched danger before her eyes. Now it would draw them towards salvation or ruin. They moved swiftly, navigating the estate's maze of memory and stone. Their journey took them to forgotten corridors. Arches loomed as last guardians to a hidden chamber. Within, the pulse of secrets was palpable, emanating from beneath the groaning weight of centuries. Sophia approached the raised wooden table at the chamber's heart, her breath catching as anticipation tangled in her spirit. The room's very air shimmered, dust motes swirling like specters of the past come alive. Impulses warred within her, but art was her compass, and this chamber held a truth just waiting for needed revelation. Gabriel stood beside her as she unrolled sketches across the polished surface. Quick strokes animated the sacred lines, iterating clarity from chaos. Desire to understand welled within her, weaving cohesion amongst pieces still fragile in meaning. No sooner had she framed the map of her legacy than a sense of profound discovery pressed through the chamber. Familiar faces now revealed truths unbidden, a phalanx of allies and enemies shaped in graphite. Gabriel seemed transfixed by the revelations, an ancestor's legacy streaming into view. Sophia's work sang with hidden knowledge. The ledger of art coaxed intimate secrets to fruition beyond simple understanding. As understanding bled into reality, the symbols connected in Sophia's mind were a cipher from which time unraveled, a hidden scaffold both fearsome and beautiful. "They'll find this room if we don't leave soon," Gabriel interjected, urgency rich in his whispered tone. Sophia glanced up, realizing all at once the imminence of their predicament. She embraced a decision. It was time to close this chapter and escape. "Trust the markings," Gabriel continued, urgency substituting attraction, "but keep the keys safe." Her heart pounded, words strumming power through her veins, intertwining destiny with a singular purity. With swiftness born of desperation, they exited, knowledge burdening them like an unchosen mantle. "We can't be certain who else knows about this," Gabriel stated, the cadence of assurance lapping at the tide of their need. They forged ahead into the mansion's embrace once more, urgency racing down corridors laden with ancestral expectations. Worlds blurred into a cacophonous melody, fears silent yet singing to what she dared achieve. The mansion's lore pressed at their heels, yet every step they took peeled back destiny's fog. For the first time, Sophia sensed the rhythm of potential beyond fear, a song eagerly sung in complexities born from the absences fracturing within. As they broke through the threshold of the estate, the promise of the unknown welcomed them with a cool gust in panoramic widows displaying nothing but diamonds of rain upon the world. But with every promise they held dear, shadows moved in the last details and yet seen still residing in a new reality. Sophia gripped her pencil tightly, clinging to its resolve while Gabriel whispered unvoiced promises into the air. And just as they thought solace might arrive amidst a morning now trumpeting awareness, a voice laced with familiarity closed in. "Tell me, how long do you think these shadows have known your name?" The phrase sank deep beneath, triggering insights yet unknown. Sophia turned to Gabriel, sight sharp with the confrontation of chance, realization dawning that the enigma surrounding them was far from finished. Gabriel's unexpected revelation loomed in Sophia's consciousness like the last echoes of a time-worn bell. The heritage enveloping her felt as alien as it was intimate, a distinct narrative, where each word penned unknowingly sowed seeds in soil fertile yet fraught. Sophia swallowed, the tang of metallic apprehension hanging like a dense curtain in the library's dim light. All had yet to unfold, and yet her footprints wandered into paths predating choices she'd begun understanding. Every pulse was deliberate, a ticking meter of urgency, eyes darting from corners to corridors woven with impending shadows. The name that brought the ash to flight, Carla mused, emerging like a shadow through the heavy stillness cloaking the room. Sophia placed down the charcoal pencil she clung to. Her fingers, once a ballet of artistry, now tremored with resonance after truth was imbued into them. Her gaze flickered to Gabriel, his facade a ledger of neutrality, written with truth Sophia was only now deciphering. The weary estate shifted, an ancient husk cradling whispers between planks and crevices as if the building itself watched. Yet, here among those whom time couldn't displace, she sought audience with what she couldn't yet utter, yearning transformed into something more substantial by charcoal promises drawn with each stroke. "The Phoenix," she breathed, piecing connections between the fleeting sketches and those permanent ties shadowing her inception into this world. Gabriel inclined his head, mystery clinging to expression like frost to morning glass. In her mind, she replayed murmurs of reassurance bundled with tales snatched from fire. Here, she was both the painter and the framed portrait to dual existence, clashing in harmony under old roof beams. Every layer in art, as in life, Carla spoke with avant-garde clarity, the words etching raw meaning onto Sophia's awareness. The pressure housed within the estate bared down after their urgency, a pause enough to draw breath yet crushed before an exhale could reverberate. As thunder shifted into weary dreams reverberating amidst chandeliers, Sophia chose steps leading beyond troubles, sifted thin through bonds misunderstood. "Leaving the choice unturned is harder," Gabriel whispered, voice low. Even amongst foreshadowing walls, intimacy wrapped seamlessly into each syllable he weaved. Outside, the storm lulled, giving momentary reprieve to scented breezes that dared encroach amidst tempered flourishes of fortune untasted. "I need to know," Sophia murmured, a solid resolution compressing during the opening of avenues both inviting and grim. Through open doors, destiny beckoned in shades only Sophia could understand. The artist's eyes scared, yet softened through trust as lines wove stories caught between sweetened lattes and stained oak. She followed Gabriel to where forgotten gardens exhaled musty reminders of blossomed memories before they wilted against stone walls. The sky overhead broke into a light dance beneath clouds skimming horizons, and there it was. The phoenix's faint silhouette etched against the shifting light, gliding through blurs of grays into blues. Suddenly, Carla's grip met Sophia's arm, firmly planted assurance that hung heavy, even between the rustling leaves. The crest you wear dictates, but never defines. She gestured towards the mark Sophia had yet to fully decipher, a brand wrought within and without. Sophia paused, her future unwound before her like vines wrapping around obelisks left by forebears. The storm won't last, Gabriel noted quietly, an illusion grounded in both reality and potential reflection. Nevertheless, even as the remnants of rainfall twinkled beneath the canopy, the world in Sophia's eyes tilted on its axis, drawing her inevitably back into an atlas of identities sketched, but never fully seen. What was will not simply be repaired, Carla affirmed. With each word spoken, knowing highlighted new fissures cradled in shadowed halls. Returning to the room filled with sketches illustrated a tableau beyond realized history, one bearing the unshed hope woven through perseverance, even when Sophia's breath shook amid cerebral seas parting. In a story rich with interpretations and mirrored spirits, she contemplated questions forged from remnants of truths discovered through storms and whispered recollections of love, loss, and revelations, yet like breath-ridden dewdrops. The estate's heart, though cradled within implicit silence, harbored what remained displaced, waiting for her fingertips to reunite towards shared evolutions. Beyond a respite longed for, she stepped past pebbled terraces awakening underfoot under the knowing gaze of ancestral stars. Sophia turned toward Gabriel, his silhouette probing the canvas of night peeled away, understanding exchanged without need to speak. Washed in soft shadows tossed by sporadic lighting, Sophia approached the questions shaped into walls. She drew in colors yet unknown, a palette both prepared and promised. That mark, Sophia whispered, pointing to the phoenix burnished where history borrowed gravitas, is it dictating or still? Gabriel nodded knowingly, appreciation fluttering through his gaze, pulling destiny closer through a hearth made by trust grown beneath unforeseen forces. The crest isn't the battle, the boundaries shape victory yet unscripted, he replied. Words a tapestry sewn horizon to soul. Their eyes diverged across untapped tomorrows, vibrating past fears less steeped in foreboding tones. The choice ebbed at Sophia's visage of certain return versus unfamiliarity, caught in chrysalis, she dared unravel. Before the hush turned moment numb, she spoke. We must redefine these echoes. Her voice caught against remnants unremembered, yet its resolve was as immortal as it was fraught. The story echoed down corridors forming a unified calculus. Sophia found endlessly compelling. Engulfed at last, she held neither termination nor defiance against history, but art's fabric. The night grew thinner and nascent, whisper convincing of luminous possibilities ahead. Quiet prairie truths hovered beneath visible terrains often marginalized by touch. As her decisions knit intentions with Gabriel, standing beside her, the answers drafted emerged cradled in protective resolve, though ironclad in chance. Silhouettes of path and purpose, invited steps transformed by flame, casting long, till dawn could claim shadows once more. Silence lingered, yet each breath, stilled in recognition, found muted between threads. She spun effortlessly. Sophia offered Gabriel a sidelong glance, softened though time deep in a declaration tinge-bedded for his scales. Forged, she determined phrases sealed with artful communion. And then, just as narratives held in stalwart history merged under lasting truths, a creak echoed beyond clarity, shaping what the envelope night would reveal next. There's more out there than dawn, Gabriel murmured, an utterance unraveling secrets. Sophia sought by strokes of courage and light confronting evening's grasp. A burst of shattered glass had more power than Sophia's heartbeat, setting off a cacophony that sent adrenaline surging through her veins. In the dim-lit chaos of the library, where dust motes danced in the light of the tilting chandeliers. She could barely grasp onto the world disintegrating around her. The room was an echo chamber, roaring with intensity as her breath crystallized in the air, leaving her fumbling through the debris of an existence teetering on the verge of revelation. She stood frozen, like a frame caught outside of time, a lonely artist whose sketches had unfurled the hidden creases of a world darker than shadow. Across from her, Gabriel's silhouette emerged from the gloom like an apparition. His eyes were piercing, lit with a ferocity tempered by loyalty, a man caught in the storm he had once thought to ride. Sophia could see each fracturing second stretch into eternity as his voice sliced through the silence, reborn from the shattered chaos. "You've drawn their attention," he murmured, and the irony was not lost amidst the tension of the moment. His words bore gravitas interwoven with the alchemy of fear and intrigue, much like the sketches that had started this dance with destiny. Sophia grappled for security within the confines of her racing thoughts, the estate's oppressive history a ghostly weight against her very skin. She could still taste the lingering aroma of candle wax and ink, scents grounding her amidst the tempestuous uncertainty swirling around her. "What now, Gabriel?" Her voice was a whisper, a single thread stretched taut within a weave of enigmas she had not sanctioned yet owned, nevertheless. Gabriel's gaze flickered to the room's shadowy corners, eyes bearing witness to whispers yet unsung. "We need to go deeper into the heart of this." His gesture encompassed the labyrinthine library, a testament to secrets time had refused to let surrender. Their impulse carried them onward, skirting the fallen remnants that told stories of reconnaissance and reckoning. Every footfall was a brush against the estate's living history, an inescapable resonance ensnaring them in a crescendo of unpredictability. "The path won't be easy," Gabriel continued, each word curling into the sedimentary air, enunciating what lay unspoken between worlds interconnected yet distinct. Sophia nodded, willing her muscles into coherence, fingers clutching the familiar texture of her sketchbook, its pages imbued with the echoes of those seeking freedom from confines unknown. Her heart beat to an irregular symphony, notes discordant yet vital, harnessing determination within her art's ineffable gravity. They threaded through corridors painted with despairing elegance, where subconscious shadows cast their lineage upon walls built to endure transformations unimagined. Sophia could feel the pulse of the past beating around every ornament and tapestry, breathing phantoms woven from fate's relentless loom. The moment they reached the heart of the mansion, Sophia halted, ensnared by art she hadn't physically created. An elaborate mural sprawled across the walls, inducing a strange kinship despite its unfamiliarity. Creatures and mythos danced in dusky hues, the kind only dreamt by those dwelling in forgotten histories. Gabriel pointed, his finger an accusatory needle, piercing the fabric of illusion. "There," he proclaimed, "is our door." Her eyes traced where he gestured, absorbing the intricate design setting the backdrop to a singular opening, a place where perception blurred into apprehension. Sophia hesitated, the quietude of profound choice weighed by invisible forces constraining her every nerve. As Gabriel beckoned, she stepped forward, noting the way shadows curled protectively near her feet. Her first step was a leap through vision rather than space. Each creaking floorboard narrated legacy through subtle tremors, leading towards the origins of her fate twined with detail both grisly and refined. "Trust yourself," Gabriel urged, offering the assurance of presence seasoned by battles both internal and external. His words lifted her gaze to meet his. "What if I fall deeper into it?" she inquired, her doubt like ripples on a pond jostled by unseen elements. Instead of an answer, Gabriel simply held her gaze, and with a flicker of resolve, Sophia found herself brushing past thresholds manifestly broached to unveil sketches unseen. Within the room lay countless tomes enshrined in dust's heavy embrace, secrets cradled amidst the folds of an era prolonged by memory rather than reality. The air was thick with anticipation, sticky weave wherein Sophia felt her soul in articulation with every turn of a page, touched both by mortality and capture. "We curate history," Gabriel declared into the charged stillness. His words were concise, piercing the space with a liberating incision. "But we rewrite what refuses to remain as mere fragments." Sophia absorbed the wisdom inherent. Their sketches were conduits unshackling time's hold, and with each completed line they summoned forth the tales from which meaning germinated. The energy in the room shifted, grand unveiling cooling beneath tempered anticipation. There, Sophia whispered breathlessly, tracing a figure half defined, rising phoenix-like from parchment licked by fire. As reality crumbled around them, beckoning through shadows both cruel and true, Sophia saw not merely art wrought by her hands but by the heart that commanded them. Sophia! Gabriel's exclamation was both a call and catharsis as conspiracies clashed and coalesced. Perched on the precipice of awareness, halfway into realms untied by intimacy and evocation, Sophia felt potential course through her veins, beckoning revelation forth. We rewrite the inevitable, she agreed with certainty, tether now as firm as the dawn illuminating their resolute pledge. Within the binding dimensions of possibility and purpose, they'd captured a truth steadfastly crafted from mutual understanding, a universe yet unveiled. Beyond them loomed the expanse of enigmas reverberating with shared pulse, a rhythm attuned to everything they had dared manifest. But then came the shiver, the sound of a deep creak followed by silence profound yet pregnant with speculation. Sophia turned to Gabriel, his expression a blend of emotion and something else, a question left hanging. Can a single picture hold worlds? The shadowed room seemed to ask, waiting for either affirmation or denial to follow the breaking light of certainty. The scent of charcoal and anticipation mingled in the air as Sophia folded the last sketch with trembling fingers, her resolve tangled in what texture each drawn truth might reveal. The legacy of familial ties wove thick through the chambers like a persistent fog. But now clarity beckoned. She was ready to paint neither shadows nor specters, but the vibrant menace of reality itself. There she stood, in the dim-lit bowels of the grand estate, where revelations had become threaded through the contours of her craft. Her heart drummed visibly beneath the olive coat that wrapped her against both cold and disbelief. From beside her, Gabriel exhaled anticipation into the bleakness, his eyes glinting with a shared roadmap of intent. Gone was the bedlam of his uncertain allegiances, replaced instead by the surety of a man determined to see this chapter closed. He gave a nod, a baton passed through a silent continuum they both now traversed. Ready, Sophia? His voice carried the weight of fathoms unsolved beneath its gently coaxing undertone. She nodded, chest fluttering like parchment caught in a gale. Thrice they had explored the estate, thrice shadows had leapt, yet lingered, prickly beneath scrutiny. Now they carried more than knowledge, they carried intent. She met Gabriel's gaze and saw within it an acceptance mirroring her own. The library, her erstwhile sanctuary, seemed unusually still, as they paced quietly over its mosaic of aging wood and contemplating how it had watched the chronicler as much as they were the creators of this unfolding story. Where do we start? Sophia asked, voice almost a childlike whisper against the slumbering visage of leather-bound tomes, staring from shelves like jurors ensconced in dust. Gabriel considered for a moment, and as he glanced around, his expression appeared to alight upon a new understanding, an epiphany visible only when the narrative's distillation becomes tangible. The panel behind the portrait, he decided, pacing softly through corridors lined as testament to what generations hid and held dear, they stopped before the regal portrait of an ancestor unmarking time before memory, an immutable relic stating continuity and unbroken gaze. With a deft motion, Gabriel shifted the frame aside to reveal a concealed panel, its intricacies earning a gasp from Sophia, admiration unbound even in such perilous times. Magnetic pull aligned the room's tranquilly pulsing legacy toward their mutual grasp. Do you ever wonder if what we uncover was meant to stay hidden? She inquired, observing how revelation buffed history's patina. His answer resonated with certainty. Truth fears no light. With joint resolve palpable, Sophia moved closer, fingers brushing over the cool metallic latch. Its touch buzzed through her, evoking specters of what artistry had paved. Two intertwining histories born anew, slowly nudging her compass towards forgotten realms. The panel yielded with a reluctant creak. Beyond stretched an intimate chamber coiled with potent narratives and muted scandals unconstrained. Carefully piloted by her sketches and guided by Gabriel's whispered assurances, she entered a sanctuary saturated with lore. Dust whirled amidst beams of moonlit scrutiny, wrapping secrets tethered to her ancestral roots. Every relic was vibrant in its silence, vibrating past unknowns, with delicate poise upon weathered shelves intimately cradling old parchment. "Draw the key," Gabriel instructed, a spark catching beneath his quiet command. Sophia nodded, her heart attuned to the fragile cadence of creation manifest. She sketched outlines translated by heart's intuition, a cipher revealed in ebbing lines across parchment born from hand to heart-determined dexterity. As sunsets painted worldings within moments, each line expanded the gathering secrets into stars marked by shadows vanishing upon scrutiny's herald. The sketch completed, commanding both gravity and charter. "The lock will accept its voice," he added cryptically, before Sophia could inwardly decide commentary. Hands nimble yet instinctual, she placed sketches in sequence, aligning their lyrical significance beneath lock's hunger-promised release. Mechanisms whirred and clicked begrudgingly, bolts yielding to art's revelation, doors unspooled dimensions tethered by mere paper, yet savored by truth's standard. Gabriel stepped closer. In his expression lay awe and understanding rife against possibilities set alight by context's indulgent grain. Light expanded as the door revealed narrative stilled, breathing in their confrontation. Within the room crept shadow-trimmed shelves adorned not merely by spectered knickknacks, but artifacts effused with memory, drawn carefully into inspected frames by some long-past wisdom call. Sophia stepped inward, her orientation carried gently toward the collection, balancing narrative pathos. Each relic, harmonizing with exposed anticipation, each echo pulsed into the silence. Here their eyes alighted upon what was doctrine, unraveling the pattern observed. Sophia observed with a type of sorrow compounded love, a treasure revealing more than a family secret. In slow motion, Gabriel retrieved from the depths of the repository a chest containing its wealth not in gold, but in premonitions cradled from those who outmocked time's passage. "Do you think relics bear witness?" Sophia ventured, feeling time shift in fragments, seen with outsighted truth. Gabriel nodded. "Witness and keeper and judge." His answer crafted itself carefully against history's brushstrokes, voided promises found rewards uninterpreted fresh, chastely awaiting. With deliberation nestled in ink, charcoal completed their comprehension. Before them, murmured legends whispered by gallery persisted beyond obligation, echoing lineage defined as much by grace as it was through shadows befriended. Sophia turned, a phoenix crest peeking beneath twilight. This vision perpetual, grasping elements eternal once held potential truths magnified. Revelations akin to potential revealed. Life eternal caught envisioned upon charcoal dawns, yet unfathomable. Yet as a gentle intrusion echoes claimed attention's vacancy, a presence entrenched in shadowy hues traversed entry gracefully, a voice melodic imbued with curiosity tinged beneath understanding's challenge. What rise from ashes may be renewed? An opus rendered incomplete dance testament now complete, cueing future alongside. And in this moment, awareness writhed alive, heralding across moments silhouetted exchange. Until Gabriel and Sophia felt the next turn awaiting a gesture unfinished, invitingly poised upon the threshold of still unveiled shadows. The room vibrated, each vibration carrying shadows that bounced from the bookshelves, crafting a tapestry of echoes that Sophia had yet to fully comprehend. For a few heartbeats, time stood still, captured like a fly in the amber of countless memories. Amidst this tense quiet, the voice cut through the darkness yet again, familiar as it was resolute. "Remember, Sophia, it's not just paint and paper. It's a Portella beginning." The reality of the moment compressed onto Sophia's shoulders, no longer fitful sketches or fleeting glimpses from the corner of her sight. These were bonds and truths drawn from the marrow, whispered through a lineage she only now could appreciate, tethering her directly to destinies she had never consciously claimed. Shadows danced around her fingertips as she reached for the weathered journal Gabriel had unearthed. Its leather-bound cover, etched with an ancient phoenix of myth, reborn again and again, foretold the secrets coded in glyphs and curls within. The scent of aged paper mixed with a cooler thread of moisture, a prelude to the unfolding narrative. There Gabriel gestured, his voice speaking to her above the noise players in unseen theater seemed to make, when their scripts pressed destiny's rate. Find the pattern, Sophia. The instruction was simple, yet laden with layers, like the strata of rock excavated to unveil Earth's hidden tales. Sophia took to the seat, feeling the slight grit of dust on the wood beneath her palms. Her movements were saturated with the cautious elegance of performing a ritual both new and old. As her eyes skimmed phrases, lines woven into other lines, nestled between languages that felt faintly familiar, soft. Soft beams of light filtered through the ancient glass behind them. Her gaze fluttered across symbols scattered in a sequence that burgeoned with the potential of profound insight. Sophia's fingers traced the shapes deficiently until they found the recurring motif. The ink felt alive under her touch, a dark reminder of its presence, humming with ancestry's weight. Penimentos of dust settled into their grooves, whispering tales of those who penned them and the gestures shared in secrecy. Amidst this absorbing landscape, filled with mystery and hints of déjà vu, the sensation of a hand upon her shoulder snapped her attention back. Gabriel was close, his presence a constant feeling of grace threaded with urgency. Do you see it now? The sparks in his eyes ignited inspiration, firing languages undeciphered, rhythms waiting to glide with feet that mixed past into a potpourri of pale revelation. Sophia nodded. She saw it clearly now, a convergence not of chance but design. Each ink-black flower, each burnished glyph, held both the cruelty of a decision already made and the warmth of possibility unfurling its tendrils. Yes, she conceded, a budding flame of realization curling forth. It's a guide, a legacy, a map charted by ink, yet fleshed out in life. In the quiet sanctuary of that moment, Sophia found the outline of hope laced with energy and intuitive choreography, leading her to trust what sunlight penned beyond shadow's reach. Her doubt, a pale relic of another era fading further into twilight, might as well have been an antique thought. As footsteps echoed in the chamber's depth, heavy but certain, the presence of new voices broke the spellbinding quiet. Some carried sparks of curiosity, others veiled by tradition's layered cloth. Carla was there, her silhouette gathered in kinship with the room's tall shelves, her expression both serene and fierce, a petal-sharp smile framed by the dimness. It's time, she pronounced, the decree a melody pitched perfectly in accord with the room's harmonic lullaby. Sophia turned her eyes to Gabriel, the bond between them firm by trial and truth, tempered across corridors carved with the intention to protect while divided by no walls. A pause, a knowing reach through the impressions left by those who had come before. Gabriel whispered near her ear, voice a gentle push upon the air. Finish what you began, Sophia. Align what we've set into motion. Nodding once more, she returned to the text-to-text, not fully understood, but resonant all the same. There was meaning in every crevasse, strength behind the ink vowed to hold with those allowing poetry to act. The room bore witness to a history throbbing with essence as within the pages of an epic unfolded under fingertips tasked with interpreting epics and dreams. They watched, a solemn audience expecting miracles from their chosen conductor. With anticipation clothed in hushed whispers, each moment carried them closer to fate's audience. And as pages turned into the air, spinning until wordplay concluded only visible in the final arc of shadow, reclined into illumination, the room itself exhaled a long-accrued truth untold. Art is never just expression, Sophia whispered, trusting in the vibration's echo. It shapes possibility, reality. Light breaking anew unfolded their place upon earth. Words spilled into presence, delineating confined horizons, absconded in handshake and brush. In this prime hour beneath skies cupping sun's last embrace, truths were planted and futures set free, a fair depth only heart's prism could comprehend. But silence clung to the curtain's fall as Gabriel and Sophia, two who'd found more within shadow's grasp than daylight's reach dared tell, turned outward once more. A final phrase from Gabriel, an invocation or perhaps an end note cast in prose simple but strong, ended in wisdom dropped like life's curtain, unfurling slow in meticulous pace. May the unknown guide you. The stirring air of the chamber stilled to witness whatever followed further than the tales told. Yet an emergent echo, devoid of illusion, closed that moment, distilling possibilities. the flutter of wings, or the chill of silence once more left undefined.